Do you stop the music?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
Let him.
Oh, okay.
When he gets me there, go ahead. I'll start. Okay, start music. No sound?
Oh, okay. Good evening and welcome to the Poets Cafe. It is where artists come to life. The spoken word brings forth the inner creation of hidden treasures, expressing tones of lyrics felt within the soul, vibration that rings stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds, be it writers, singers, spoken word, artistic expression, and painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities through the mind at all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow on the wings of yesterday, where birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the calls of nature, sing in harmony, pray for the love of the skies, and dance with the stars like a feminine ballerina, gazing across the stage in her soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artist Poetry Cafe show, Poetically Speaking, hosted by Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCrae. As delighted as we are, we can't wait to engulf a new wave of presenting this platform to our audience. So, sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Now, let's get started.
Let's get started. And before we get started, we want to thank you for tuning in. Also, we want to thank you for following us. You know, you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube. And now we have some people following us on TikTok. And I want to just take a few minutes to shout out to those people who catch us on TikTok. And so again, shout outs to the following people. What's going on? Patricia Gail Jackson. What's going on? Dina Robinson. What's going on? Benita Floyd Ward. What's going on? Linton Robinson. What's going on? Issa Canty. What's going on? Wayne Spikes. What's going on? Mark Roberts. What's going on? Yvonne Tomlinson. What's going on? Mr. Brian Cox. What's going on? Tony McQueen. And what's going on? Jamil Abdullah. Now, Jamil Abdullah, you know that wasn't your name in high school. You know, so I'm not gonna call you out. I'm not gonna say what your name was, but you know, it wasn't Jamil Abdullah, and you know that. But brother, I thank you. I thank you for keeping up with me. You know, we come a mighty long way, man. You know, again, you know, from back in the hood in high school. So I thank you. I thank all of the people who are following us, whether you follow us on YouTube, Facebook, or whatever. We thank you. We really appreciate it. And so again, I'm going to take time out, you know, every program to really reach out to you and give you a shout out, because a lot of times when we're in the program, we're not able to do that. So tonight our engineer is Jeff, so I want to give him a shout out. And then I want to get right into the program. And so today's agenda is like it is today, okay? And that's like it is today, remembering Gil Noble, who is this gentleman right here. You know, he's a famous black journalist, you know, 4-time Emmy Award-winning journalist, Gil Noble, and he had a program called Like It Is. And so again, in our humble way, we carrying on the tradition of Like It Is, you know, and again, there are other black journalists that we will bring to your mind as we go through this. But I want to start today's program with actually a quotation from this book, and it's from Gil Noble. And Gil says, "Africa is the fundamental element of my being. The more African I feel, the more effective an American citizen I become, because I have a sense of what I am. I'm not willing to accept anything less." And this is from Gil Noble, the author of this book. Black is the color of my TV tube. And this is from 1981. And so, again, I really feel that the old books are the best books because they are the closest to the truth. As we go through our lives, get away from that, we find people start to make up things that are not true. So, again, welcome to the programs, Poetically Speaking, with Terry and Ron. And as always, it's very special to have my brother here with me, Ronald McCray. And we began with Ron's poetry. Ron, what you got for us today?
It's interesting. There's a couple of things I have. And matter of fact, one of the pieces I was going to hold off. But let me just put this out there now because it's important. Once again, welcome to everybody who's listening, have listened, will continue to listen. We applaud you. We need you. We look forward to hearing from you. So that's important. So there's no disrespect whatsoever. We welcome everybody. That's what this is all about.
That's right.
Poetically speaking, that's right. The art of conversation.
Yes.
Here, in one of the books I have, okay, The Organic Flavors of Life. And so I just want to read this to get started. And this is important. Without a purpose, because one of the things we often talk about is everybody have a purpose. There's no such thing, no identity. Everybody has a purpose, but it's up to you to know what purpose I have and to fulfill that. But if you're not sure, that's why we're here collectively and and to be able to work together in dialogue.
Yes.
Without a purpose. In the middle of darkness, life felt like a shooting star, bright, glittering, and sparkling in space of nowheres. I remember that place, but I was not there. On the corner, I stood looking in the direction as each star traveled across the galaxy. My life is like those stars, going somewheres, nowheres, anywheres, but I was not there. When I left in the middle of darkness, I saw a light staring at me from the universe. As I stared into space, the earth moved and the mountain plains brought forth uncertainties, but I was not there. Something nudged at my mind, whispering in a spiral manner. I sought to make sense out of each footstep as I trod down a path with time spoken a language of confusion. Too often this voice repeated itself in a frenzy-like state, asking the same question, where am I? But I was not there. These stars burst in a flameless sparkle, setting the stage for a transitory existence. Touched by the clouds of darkness, I walked under the umbrella of confusion, seeking the confidence of a job I dreamed of. But the harsh feelings of doubt that ran through my veins was like an infected virus harboring my immune system. Diversity was inhumane like a field of cactus, walking barefooted, never experiencing the thorn in my side. But I was not there. The message in my eyes cannot see, faith, hope, and praise that comfort me was hanging on like a scarf wrapped around my neck. My journey was without despair and tormented challenged my vacuous, yet I continued to ask the question, where am I going? But I was not there. I was not there for a divorce coming, fell on hard times, blind as a groundhog staring at me. We came face to face. Suddenly, it dispersed in warp speed and shattered dreams came bearing down on my future optimistically. By the noise all around, I searched endlessly for someone to call, but the echo was deep in the cavern of my soul that faded without a trace, but I was not there. Begging on the corner when they threw stones at me, laughed at me, humiliated me, told me to get my life together, haunted by the reflection as the passing lights exposed my infirmities. I watched, cried, laughed, get out there, but I could not hear, nor was I there.
Yes, I love that. Without a purpose. And again, this is from my brother's book here. We see colors, the organic flavors of life. Poems by Ronald C. McCray. And as always, brother, I got to ask you, where did that come from?
It's interesting because this naturally all of mine, they pop up, but they don't just pop up. They pop up with the reasons and the purpose unknown or unexpected to myself.
That's right.
But I put these together because one of the things is to hear somebody or to feel, I don't have a purpose. What is my purpose in life? And matter of fact, too often people says, well, everybody, all of us have a purpose,
That's right.
but too many of us always fighting to try to figure out what is the purpose now. Well, the thing is, the freedom in now is to create something. We were talking earlier, and I know
That's
we're
right.
going to come back to
You'll
that,
come back to
especially
it.
as a kid.
Yeah,
That's where I put this, because again, the challenges in life, as I indicated, look for a job, divorce coming, and unfortunately, those are the sad part, that the relationship breaks up and you didn't know where it came from. And this is male or female, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, but when you fall on hard times, as we see, many do, you have to look at my life. What is my life all about? And it's not easy. I understand that. So I'm saying this out of total respect and consideration.
Yeah, and the thing that I want to mention before we go on, it's so funny. We try to keep up with people as they sort of come into our view. Through the comments, and Ruby Shivers, she says, carry on, brothers. Again. Noting Gil Noble, but I want to give Ruby Williams Shivers a special salute because, we come through the school of Ruby Shivers.
Absolutely.
I was the co-host. My brother was the guest when I couldn't come to the program. For one summer I was with my twins. Ruby asked me who could I recommend to be her co-host, and the only brother I could think of was this brother. And look where we are now. Absolutely. So Queen Ruby Williams Shivers, I want to give you your flowers now.
Absolutely.
And you, of course, are a big fan of Gil Noble. As a matter of fact, Quiet as It's Kept, when I met you, you had a cable TV show, and this was back in the day. And so again, you have been, for me, inspiration, and I consider you a pioneer. So it's always good to know that you're watching over me, and I just hope that I do you proud, because I don't want to disappoint you, because you put a lot of time in me. You poured into me with a big picture, and I really thank you for that. So again, this poem brings back a lot of things, because one of the things that we're going to talk about a little later, we're going to talk about lifelong learning and healthy aging, and one of the things that we both agree on, that you have to have a purpose. Ruby Williams Shivers, she came out of retirement to actually have her show, The Unapologetic Amateur, looking for experts in Africanism. I'm going to forget that. That's why I started with the quote from Gil Noble about Africa. So brother, again, I always like the way you come out, and that's why I'm glad that I have a copy of the book so I can follow with you, because Without Purpose is a powerful poem. It's powerful, brother. Powerful.
And before you go on, I'd just like to also, it was interesting that as we were putting our agenda together, and I saw on the agenda in reference to Gil Noble and in Africa, and I happened to have pulled out one of the books that was given to me. And one of the things I always say, because even when I done a documentary with another brother when I went to Africa, and I always mentioned about Gil Noble, who said at least once in your lifetime, everyone should visit the motherland, Africa. Yes. So I found it was not so much of a coincidence, but I always say it's a time and season. It was a reason for us to come up with this today.
Yes.
So I have in front of me a book, Africa. You see, I just received it, and, just reading in and out, but I just like to read a little bit because this is important, just a tab of it. And really, this one is centered around family. Family life and socialization. Family life, having discussed social groups and the place of the individuals in those groups. Let us turn our attention now to the family structure. The extended family system is the most prevalent family system in Africa.
Yes.
And I've seen it myself firsthand, personally.
Me too.
It is a larger family structure and includes more blood relatives than the basic nuclear family found in the United States and in the Western world. In the United States, the model family membership is one or two parents and children. Because of the high divorce rate in the United States, one now finds an increased incidence of step families, made up previously divorced parents and their children from earlier marriages. Even in step families, the composition is basically the same parents and their children. In traditional African families, however, there were 3 or more generations of relatives, grandparents, uncles, aunts, nephews, and nieces, all living in proximity and working together for the common good. The extended family system seemed to fit nicely into the communal life pattern also in Africa. And I said that because, again, as we, for most part, those who have heard and know that it takes a family, it takes a whole village to raise a child. This is what we're talking about in the motherland, Africa. Unfortunately, today, how many in this today generation know who their neighbors are?
That's right.
And how many neighbors are sitting out there watching their kids acting, whatever the case may be. See, that's one thing when we were coming up.
That's right.
We may not have seen our neighbors, but we knew somebody's boy, girl.
If you don't get out of that tree.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you all such and such.
That's right.
And see, so that's what this is all about. Bringing back that structure.
That's right.
And your community, your family should be all around the blocks in your community and not bringing harm to anyone in your community.
Yes, and that's why they have that phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. That goes back to our African roots, where, again, everybody, you had many mothers and fathers in the community back in the day. I was living downtown. I go uptown, and I think I'm just going to do all my dirt uptown, not realizing that, what, are you Carol Mays, boy? Huh?
Yeah.
You okay? Look, I used to change your diaper. What? Boy, if you don't stop doing that, you gonna get it. And by the time I got downtown, my mother said, "What you doing, sassy Miss Sadie?" I didn't sass her. She told you to stop, and you didn't stop. Boy, get in that room. Oh no! I know what's gonna happen, and then I get stupid. I say, well, I know you're gonna beat me, so beat me now, boy. If you don't get out of my face, I know I'm gonna get a beating. Said, boy, if you don't get in this room, I'm gonna kill you. Okay. That's all I need to stop. But the thing is that there were eyes everywhere. And that was a good thing. That was a good thing because you know that you were protected and haven't been, if you got in some trouble, you can run to somebody. And so that's what's missing today. We've gotten away from that tribal community. And what we try to do with this program, we try to bring that community back. That's why we talk about people like Gil Noble, who you should know about. I know he's from another generation, but again, if it wasn't for Gil Noble, it wouldn't be any Melba Tolliver or Sue Simmons or all these people who were black journalists before them. And the tradition continues, with Don Lemon and Roland Martin and even, some of the female, like Karen Hunter, these people, they continued that tradition of what they call speaking truth to power. Okay, and so when we talk about Gil Noble, we're talking about all the ancestors before that got us to this place where we can get on these microphones and share with you the knowledge and organize it in a way that you can easily digest it. I mean, it's not easy what we do, but we make it look easy because we've had experience. But the experience that we have is based on the examples of brothers like this brother. So don't forget, Gil Noble, we're going to talk about him a little bit more. But again, this is the man who really started for me. I don't know about you, Ron, but I tell you, man, Sunday afternoon was like it is with Gil Noble.
Absolutely. I used to watch it. I couldn't wait to watch it because I was always in tune to the message and the host. Also, let's keep in mind the Tony Brown Journal.
Oh, yes. Tony Brown.
That was so important.
It was very important, yeah.
They were in an era where there was hard times back then, back in the 60s and before our time, whatever the case may be, early 70s, 80s, and 90s. There were hard times. Matter of fact, probably more hard then than it is today.
Yes.
What exists today, which is sad, and it's extremely important for us to look at
That's true.
ourselves to dismantle the chaotic mess that in our own black community you bring your own destruction.
That's right.
And as opposed to bringing them together, building up, and helping one another. So keep in mind, it's not that somebody's yelling at your child or teenager.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to keep them in line to keep somebody from the outside taking their life. We hear too much of that on a regular basis.
Yes, we do. And again, and one way that we guard against that by educating ourselves. And that's why we have a segment in the program called Mind, Body, and Books. And today I'm going to do something a little different because most of the time when I speak about books, it's usually nonfiction. But today I want to talk about 2 fiction books, you know. And I want to sort of subtitle this The Novel List. The Novel List, okay? On my Facebook page, when I write reviews on books, usually I write about fiction, and I put it on the head of The Novel List, and I write a review, and I have it published on my Facebook page, but also on Amazon. And it's so funny, Ron, when I first started writing reviews for Amazon, you know, I was writing with such regularity that they started sending me books, you know? And then what happened is that when I first started writing reviews, you know, I would write a review like on Monday, and then they would say, well, we need, a few days to review it, and then we would publish it. But then it got to the point where I was so prolific that it got to the point where I would write a review on Monday, and they would publish it on Monday. I said, whoa, what is this, you know? And so I got real slick, you know, and one day I wrote 2 reviews on Monday, and was published on Monday. I said, oh, man, I must be getting good, you know? And then they started sending me books. But my point is that, again, when you read a book, whether it be fiction or nonfiction, I think it is well to share it because somebody else might get a benefit. So just briefly, I want to talk about 2 books. The first book that I want to talk about is a book entitled Topless. And this is by Relentless Aaron. Now, Relentless Aaron, he was a black writer, and he published this particular book in 2004. And it's called Topless, an Urban Drama. And again, this is, and they call these black books. And this was in the manner of Donald Goines and Iceberg Slim and people like that there. But this book was interesting because it was really based on a true story. Because back in the day, Aaron's father really had ran a club called Gilmore's. And what I want to do, just briefly, just to give you a flavor of this writer, it says here, and this is from the foreword, it said, on the southern end of Mount Vernon, there was a bar known as Gilmore's. It was a family-run hole in the wall that was addicted to both men and women for different as well as similar reasons. The club was an attraction. It sucked in all the walks of life through its doors. Men who had discretionary income, men whose pastime and passion was to meet, gaze at, and even touch the young, sexy, and sometimes desperate women who worked there. Women who didn't mind taking off their clothes for a few bucks. Something of a flesh fest. This money machine continued to crank on for a few decades, trouble-free, from 12 noon until 4 a.m., rain or shine, weekday, weekend, or holiday. Put simply, Gilmore's had a supply and demand that seemed to have no apparent end. Not until the investigation of a dancer's murder has the world of Gilmore's been exposed. Not until now has the story of this empire been brought to the surface for all the world to see in all its colorful detail by the only person who was there, both inside and out. As much as this is a history of success, of greed, and of lust, it's also a crisp, concise tell-all memoir like none other. Welcome to Gilmore's, the true leader in adult entertainment. And again, this is a fictional account of Gilmore's, which was actual place. And again, it was written by Relentless Aaron, who I consider one of the fathers of black urban drama. But the good thing is that, Relentless Aaron is still writing. Now he's writing under the name of D. Gilmore, and he is still in the game and also doing other things as well as also doing films. Now the tradition carries on because I just got this book, and this is 2025, and this is a book called Game Changer. And this book, again, is considered urban drama. And I just want to read the back of the book because the story is very interesting here. It says here, Thomas Richard is what some call a genius. Born and raised in Inglewood, California, he grew up in a blood neighborhood and was fascinated by the gang lifestyle. His cousin, Blas, was deeply involved with the Crenshaw Mafia gangster bloods and never wanted Thomas to partake in that gang lifestyle. Thomas accepted that, but deep in his heart, he still felt like he was a blood. Thomas works for a high-tech computer company and uses his brilliance to excel at his job. While playing a slot machine app on his phone, one day he discovers a way to rig slot machines to give out the maximum payout. His life changes after he tests his theory and becomes an instant millionaire. He buys expensive jewelry for his fiancée and takes care of his family. And he still has more money than he can handle. Keeping the secret of this get-rich scheme drives him crazy. So he decides to tell Blas, a mistake that turns his world inside out. Money, cars, lowriders, and the best of everything money can buy eventually led to blackmail and culminate in murder, all because Thomas couldn't keep a secret. So again, he figured out a way to rig these slot machines for a big payout. He became rich, but he couldn't keep his mouth shut. So now he had people coming in on him. But again, it's an urban drama. So if you like the power shows, you should read some of these books, okay? Because again, as far as I'm concerned, these are basis for many of these particular books, Want to reach out to our people who are looking in here. Sheila Bird, good evening, brothers. Benjamin and McCrae. Ruby Shivers, you guys are excellent. Ruby Shivers, my kings. Monica saying says, ha, ha, ha. Monica said, boy, if you don't get out of my face, have me laughing. And Monica says, true about the village. Sheila Bird, amen. Monica saying, sadly, I have to get back to work now. Lunch hour over, but what I saw, I enjoyed. Well, after you get off your lunch break, come on back, Monica, because we got some more for you. But again, thank you. And Ruby Williams Chavez called them villagers, and I call them villagers. I call them friends because you're supporting the program. So, with that said, I want to move on to another part of our program because I want to get into that discussion, food for thought. But I can't really not talk about songs as poetry unless I talk about my brother, your brother, our brother. And today I want to go into the Book of Wonder. The Book of Wonder. It's not in the Bible, so don't be looking for that. You look at the Book of Matthew, the Luke and John and whatnot. No, this is the Book of Wonder, And this is found in all the albums that Stevie Wonder had made. And so I want to go into this, to the Book of Wonder. But today, I want to do a little something different. Most of the time, Stevie's known for his love songs. But also, Stevie, he got a political heart and a political head. And so I want to go to some of the political songs that Stevie has recorded. And the first song that I want to look at, because, again, I think it's just profound in terms of what he's talking about. Understand, this was written in 1974. And again, and I can say this aloud to whoever need to hear it, okay? This is 1974, and this is from the Book of Wonder, Stevie Wonder, and the song is, You Haven't Done Nothing. You haven't done nothing. And it goes here. It says here, we are amazed but not amused by all the things you say that you'll do. Though much concerned about but not involved with decisions that are made by you. We were sick and tired of hearing your song, telling us how you're going to change right from wrong. Because if you really want to hear our views, you haven't done nothing. It's not too cool to be ridiculed, but you brought this upon yourself. The world is trying to pacify. We want the truth and nothing else. Yeah. And we are sick and tired of hearing your song, telling us how you're going to change right from wrong. Because if you really want to hear our view, you haven't done nothing. Jackson 5, join along with me, say, do-the-wop, boop-boop, do-the-wop, do-the-wop. He said, do-the-wop,
Hey.
do-the-wop, do-the-wop. We would not care to wake up to the nightmare that becomes real life. But when misled, who knows a person's mind can turn as cold as ice. Why do you keep making us hear your song, telling us how you're going to change right from wrong? Because if you really want to hear our views, you haven't done nothing. Yeah, nothing. Jackson 5, sing along with you now. Do the wop. Do the wop.
Hey.
Do the wop. Hey, do the wop. Do the wop. Sing for your people. Say, do the wop. Hey, do the wop. And that's, You Haven't Done Nothing by Stevie Wonder from the Book of Wonder. And then this next song is really important because at one time, I don't know if you remember, Ron, when Stevie was involved in a serious car accident, you know.
Right.
As a matter of fact, he was a passenger,
Right.
of course, because he don't drive, but you can't see. But an actual log came through the windshield, and Stevie almost died. And as a result of that, he came up with this song, and the song was entitled Higher Ground. And this is from 1972. And this reads, it says, people, keep on learning. Soldiers, keep on warring. World, keep on turning, because it won't be too long. Powers, keep on lying, while your people keep on dying. World, keep on turning, because it won't be too long. Oh, no. I'm so darn glad he let me try it again, because my last time on earth, I lived a whole world of sin. I'm so glad that I know more than I knew then. Going to keep on trying till I reach my higher ground. Lovers, keep on loving. Believers, keep on believing. Sleepers, just stop sleeping, because it won't be too long. I'm so darn glad he let me try it again. My last time on earth, I lived a whole world of sin. I'm so glad that I know more than I knew then. I'm going to keep on trying till I reach my highest ground. Till I reach my highest ground. No one's going to bring me down. Again, our highest ground. You know, my brother talking about without a purpose. Well, the purpose, you know, when I was in school, they had what they called Abraham Maslow's pyramid, okay? On the bottom, it was just basic living, okay? And the goal was to reach the top. And Abraham Maslow, because the top was self-actualization, and Dr. Abraham Maslow said that very few people reach the top. But my mentor, Dr. Wayne Dyer, said that everybody could reach that top, but you got to get past the basics, you know, the basic, you know, food, water, and shelter as you move up, you know, to self-validation. You move up to self-acceptance, and you move up to self-actualization is the top of the pyramid, you know. And very few people reach that because they get sort of bogged down at the bottom. And when I think about self-actualization, I think about Oprah Winfrey. I think about people like Denzel Washington, because I mean, he is at the height of his game. I don't, you know, and he was talking about he's going to retire. I'm sure that he will, but before he retires, he's going to direct some more films. He's going to act in some more films. He's on Broadway now in Othello, and some of those tickets go for $900, you know. But the thing is that he is at the top. He is a self-actualized person. Everybody should strive for that, because if you don't make it, at least you're striving. You have a purpose. You know, a lot of times, especially with those of us who are retired, you know, that 9 to 5 really sort of gave a structure to our day. But now you have to make that time count. And that's why we're going to talk about some more about that, lifelong learning and healthy aging. And I just want to read one more song, and I call it a psalm, one more psalm from the Book of Wonder, Stevie Wonder. And this one is from 1976. And it says here, good morning or evening, friends. Here's your friendly announcer. I have serious news to pass on to everybody. What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster, could change your joy and laughter to tears and pain. Is that love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Hate's going round, breaking many hearts. Stop it, please, before it gets too far. The force of evil plans to make you its possession, and it will, if you let it, destroy everybody. We all must take precautionary measures. If love and peace you treasure, then you'll hear me when I say that love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Hate's going round, breaking many hearts. Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. People, you know that love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. You know that hate's going round, breaking many hearts. Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. It's up to you, cause love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. You know that hate's going round, hate's going round, hate's going round, hate's going round, and it is trying breaking many hearts. We've got to stop it before it's gone too far. Love's in need of love today. Did you ever think that love would be in need of love today? Don't delay, send yours in right away. Bring it down a little. Life is very peaceful. Bring it down a little.
I need love.
We all need love, you know. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Not just for, well, whatever. It's where I start humming, you know, because you don't know the lyrics, so they just but again, you know, love is precious, love is important, and again, man, what we do in these program is give you our love and give you our passion. And before we have our discussion, I just want to read just one thing real quick, and then me and my brother are going to really get into a discussion of advocating lifelong learning and healthy aging. And this book here is an important book. Is Daily Motivation for African American Success by Brother Dennis Kimbrough. And again, he has something for each day. So today is May 27th. And so here, May 27th, the heading is Parental Discretion Advised. And there's a quote here: children could keep on the straight and narrow path if they could get information from someone who's been over the route. Okay? This is from Marianne Wright Elderman, founder of Children's Defense Fund. You know, again, children could be good if they had somebody to show them the way. And so again, the application from Brother Dennis Kimbrough, he says here, when the proud mother and father hold their 7-pound bundle of joy in their arms, it's difficult to imagine that someday that little package would be a 6-foot, 200-pounder or a 5-foot beauty who will make major contributions to the world. Positive parents, however, have the capacity to see the future, to use their imagination to visualize that child growing up to be a loving, creative, successful adult. Just as the renowned sculptor Selma Burke sees her masterpieces in granite and stone long before she strikes the first blow, so must parents confidently project an image of the fine young man or woman who will emerge from that tiny block of humanity. It is the responsibility of the parent to nurture that impressionable child through successive stages into positive adulthood. Of course, the nurturing process is not easy. A well-baked cake consists of many ingredients blended into the correct format for the proper length of time. To raise children who will be winners in tomorrow's world, parents must use many essential ingredients: love, tenderness, discretion, and other qualities, all wrapped up in an abundance of care and commitment for the children's eventual well-being. We can't take for granted that our children will feel as good about themselves as we want them to, but we can set the stage for success by giving their egos a nudge here and a kiss there. Raising positive children is no small task by any stretch of the imagination, but it can be fun, exciting, and tremendously rewarding. And the affirmation, and again, what I suggest with these affirmations, you look in the mirror and you say this to yourself: today, I will let my child know that he or she can succeed. I want to say that again. Affirmation. Today, this day, today, I will let my child know that he or she can succeed. And again, we always say this, and we say this with levity, and humor, but it is true. Don't let the child inside you grow old, okay? Because that's where you find your passion. That's what you find your purpose. So again, in the spirit of Gil Noble, we get into this discussion, and this is food for thought. And the topic is advocating lifelong learning and healthy aging. And then let me just say something to you. Healthy aging doesn't begin in your 50s or your 60s, okay? To really be in good shape in your 70s and 80s and beyond, you start taking care of yourself better, you start eating better, you start exercising, you start drinking your water, you start taking your supplements, you start taking your vitamins, because again, that's the only way that you're going to age healthily, okay? Because you can't stop it, but you can slow it down. So what say you, my brother? I know you have a lot to say. I know you do.
It's always interesting. And actually, you're right on point. So I just, excuse me, just want a couple points here, because one of the most important things, a matter of fact, if I may, I want to read this.
Yes.
And let me say this first, because as I identified before, without a purpose, every single human being, everybody who's listening, and even we ourselves have a purpose. You may not know or understand in the moment, but we have a purpose for living and living
That's
harmoniously.
Right. Yes.
So let me just read this first, and then I want to come back to something that's also important. This is taken from a book, Before the Mayflower.
Classic literature.
Before the Mayflower. 18 to 17, 1600, before the Mayflower.
And who's the author of that book there?
The author is by Leon Bennett Jr. Laron, I think it is, if I pronounce it.
Yeah, Laron Bennett Jr.
Exactly.
Before the Mayflower, okay?
Before the Mayflower. So don't think that what you have today, the Mayflower today, is something new. No.
Our history didn't start with this.
No.
Our history didn't start in this country.
And it's before your president. Let me
Before
read
the
this.
Mayflower.
I just read something that's short. Just a paragraph.
Please.
Matter of fact, in the 2 decades preceding the Civil War, white immigrants depressed wages and climate Negroes as serious competitors in several fields. The situation was alarming. Some Negroes were actually starving. Listen to me very carefully. As you are being accused today. No. Listen. And behind the danger of starvation lay the danger of mob violence at the hand of desperately insecure immigrants. Frederick Douglass, reading the signs of the times, back then, reading the signs of the time, sat down and wrote an editorial. Learn trades or starve. Let me say that again. Learn trades or starve. There's no such thing. There's nothing in your hand. Pick up a broom, a mop, your hands, get a rag, get a bucket, whatever it takes. Like he said, learn a trade or starve.
That's right.
White men are becoming house servants, cooks, and stewards on vessels and at hotels. They are becoming porters, stevedores, woodworkers, hood carriers, brick makers, whitewashers, and barbers, so that the black can scarcely find the means of subsistence a few years ago, and a white barber would have been a curiously, now their poles stand on every street.
That's right. Yeah.
Keep this in mind. You have a purpose. Stop giving your life and your purpose to somebody else to control how you're supposed to be. Live your life. And so I'm going to go from there and say this other short thing in short, as you was also, even with the lyrics of Stevie Wonders and other authors and whatnot. The joy of each one of us is the joy of a child that lives within. Enjoy the moment. Live life to the fullest. That's what's important. The health and wellness and advocating life, a longevity, starts within you, no matter how you look at it. Right. So let me introduce you to a book, an author. This is so profound. I'm like, I was blown away when I read about it, received it. What are the leading causes of life? What are the leading causes of life? We hear every second of our moment of breathing. What are the leading causes of death? Somebody dies. Somebody's sick. But what have you stopped to think about and realize what are the leading causes of life? Right. This, and I'm going to, and matter of fact, let me go on. I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm so excited.
So excited.
Yeah.
That's passion.
A prescription for living at your highest and best. And matter of fact, even here, which one is higher ground?
Higher ground, yes.
Okay.
Higher ground.
This was written, and I have two, and I'm going to come back with the second one. The author is a physician, pastor, and professor. His passion over the past several decades has been the intersection of medicine and ministry, science and spirituality. The name is Dr. Evans. Completed his medical degree at Howard University. Yeah, to Howard. Howard University College of Medicine, where also served as assistant professor in the Department of Community Health. Additionally, he has served as vice president and corporate medical director of the Cigna Insurance and Health Care Corporation. Dr. Evans had published many articles in various health journals and newspapers, including the Journal of the American Medical Association, the New England Journal of Medicine, Journal of National Medicine Association, the Los Angeles Times, Ebony Magazine, and the Washington Post. Yes. He is senior pastor at Morning Star Community Christian Center. Yay for Morning Star. In Linden, New Jersey. Oh, wow. He is highly sought after messages of spiritual and mental and physical health healing and wholeness are delivered to people throughout the world. Dr. Evans is the author of an audio program and 3 additional books, a series of prescriptions to maximize one's life, utilizing an approach that includes the whole human being, spirit, mind, and body. And just in short, you are made in the image and likeness of God. An audio CD, message series, how to keep people from getting on your last nerves, a prescription for managing stress.
That's an important book, right there. Read that book tonight.
What in hell do you want? A prescription for the spiritual strength to live heaven on earth. Yeah. From purpose to promise, driven life, a prescription for making the difference you were born to make. And it's interesting because when I got this and I read the title, this was a few years ago, it hit me, just the title itself. What are the leading causes of life? A prescription for living at your highest and best. For everybody who reads the Bible, go to church, read the Quran, read the Torah, any book. Every preacher, minister, priest, no matter what, imam, no matter who it is telling you how to live your life to the fullest and the best. And there's no such thing you don't have a purpose. And prior to this book, he had written one prior to I had on my shelf, and I only supported it at the time, only realized it was a continuation from here to this one in itself. That's what's important. So as we continue to move forward, we will continue to talk about health and wellness. No matter how you look at it. Yeah. We have the child inside. Live your life. Now, let me say this last one now. Those who know the Bible, 1:9, read it, whatever case may be. What Paul said, when I was a child, I acted like a child. I thought like a child. Right. But when I became an adult, I put away childish things. Now, see, there's a limit. Being silly, having fun, and enjoying life is one thing. But don't get stupid and ignorant. Crazy.
Don't be ignorant. And I see here we have some of the villagers who are looking at, and Pat Hughes says, good evening, Pat, how you doing? Sheila Bird, help us out. You know, she says here, not just for some, but for everyone.
That's right.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love, not just for some, but for everyone. Thank you, Sheila Brown Bird.
Absolutely.
And I just want to squeeze this in. This is from the book by Gil Noble, and it's so important and so impactful because sometimes to do better, you got to see better. And, you know, I have mentors, Ron has mentors, and Gil Noble has mentors, and his greatest mentor was Malcolm X. And this is what he says about Malcolm X. He says here, Malcolm X continues to dominate my thoughts and deeds, though in unexpected ways. Malcolm held many principles that I have adopted in order to improve myself. First, he was a believer in punctuality. That may seem a trivial thing, but it has now come to mean a great deal to me. Punctuality is a standard in the like it is office. It has been good discipline for the staff and for me to be on time, and it builds a secure sense of responsibility needed to cope with the urgencies of the times in our business. Malcolm was a passionate reader. I was never turned on to reading during my school years, but I have developed my facility for reading because there is now a purpose to it. Reading has helped me become more effective at what I do. Reading can help anyone, no matter what they do. Through this means, I can find people in history who have similar problems to mine. Studying how these individuals solve their problems helps me to solve my own. As my knowledge has increased, my ego has decreased proportionally. Knowledge is the mother of humility and makes one realize how little is really known overall. Okay, so again, we're humble because as much as we know, as much as we learn, there's much more to learn. Okay, and that's what we share with you today. I tell you, Ron, time flies when you're having fun, especially on the show. Because again, I'm looking at the time here, and according to this, we have about 10 minutes, so I'm going to give you about half of that.
You know, and I'll take a little lesson there because, again, you know, we've been having so much fun even this evening, and we can go over our designated time. But let me just say this in short, and this is important too, and I'm not going to read, I just want to point something out. In this book, Before the Mayflower, I'm looking at two gentlemen. John B. Rushworm was one of the founders of the black press. Rushworm and Samuel E. Cornish founded the first black newspaper, Freedom's Journal, in 1827. I brought that out to say this. As we've been hearing, and all of a sudden, you know, your president been firing people and getting rid of people, we have black journalists today, professional. We have writers on all levels. I'm talking about even as a child, as a writer. The bottom line is we have to come together to recognize, to support all of us. Roland Martin talks about it. If they was writing newspapers and had new newspapers then and journals, and even Frederick Douglass had, I think it was the North Star, then how come we sitting around today worrying about I got fired from somebody else's platform? Start your own. Right. Tavis Smiley did, and many others. See, this is what's important. Every one of us have a purpose, and our purpose to help one another. Lift someone else up better than yourself. Philippians 2 and 3. You can look at it for yourself. I'm not going to sit here and quote something that I can't back up. I'm not going to say anything that I can't back up. Right. So it's important to know and understand we have a purpose. Our purpose is to live life and live it to the fullest and the highest as we can. And the only way we can do that, to bring that village back, is to come together. Forget all the negative stuff, all the this and that and the other pointed finger. How can we build our community up? And it's up to you to come to us as we come to you to bring to you so we can hear from you how we can collectively come together and do that.
And that's so important because it brings to mind two quotations, one from a person that we all know and then another from an unknown writer. And the quotation is the first quotation from Albert Einstein, who says that imagination is more important than knowledge because imagination is unlimited, okay? Your imagination can take you out of this world.
Absolutely.
Okay? So there's no limit to imagination. There may be a limit to knowledge of what we can put in books and whatnot, but our imagination, especially when you have the heart of a child and the the maturity of a man and a woman, you can take this to another level. And the second quotation is from an unknown writer, and the quotation is, imagination is a preview of reality. Okay? What you think in your mind, your imagination, if you see it, in your imagination, it can come true. That's the whole saying about dreams. Dreams can come true, and dreams can become reality. Again, a lot of people understand that sometimes we have people who have been great, and their greatness has been because they can manifest what they're thinking. As a man could sit down and actually draw blueprints for a building. Now, the building has not been actually made yet, but in his imagination, he has created that. And so when he sees the building, it's almost anticlimactic. I remember back in the day when I had my own publishing company, Ron, what I would do is that I would have my people actually design a cover. I say, build a cover for me, okay? And what I would do, I would take the cover, and this is the cover of the book here. I would take the cover and I will put it on my desk, Now, understand, the book has not been finished. I'm still working on the book, But in my imagination, in my mind, as I'm working on it, I see the book cover and I see the book in stores. I see the book being sold. I see myself writing the book. And sometimes we got a trick on mind, because the mind is a beautiful thing, You can tell your mind, you know what? I am so happy. I am so happy. I want to jump up and dance, And you may be going through hell. You may be going through a very hard time. But the mind doesn't know that, because you trick your mind to really feel it. I mean, I can sit here and recall the different cruises that I've been on, and I can almost take myself back to that time. And so what we're saying to you, that the whole concept, and this is what we advocate lifelong learning. There's always something new to learn, because there's always books. And we advocate healthy aging. I've been told, you don't look 74. And, and I've been told that for a long time, and I hope that it continues, because it just shows that I'm doing something right, despite my imperfections, despite my humanness. I've been able to make some right choices. But again, we thank you for joining us. And Ron, we have about a minute or two, and I know you got something to say that I want you to say to the people.
Yeah, let me take hand for that.
Okay.
Here's a magazine I had, Black in America, the Smithsonian. African American History and Culture opens in Washington, D.C. But I just wanted to show, show this, as an example. This is The Road to Freedom. This is way back when, the road to freedom, the migration of African American blacks during that time, seeking opportunity as they migrated to the North.
Yes.
Now, many of us in the North, a lot of us went back to the South. But the bottom line is, where was your road to freedom?
That's right. Again, the road to freedom. And I always say that when you find your passion, you find your path. I was lucky. I was fortunate. I told my mom I was 9 years old. I said, Mom, I want to be a writer. And I didn't know a writer was a public speaker. I didn't know a writer was a journalist. I didn't know a writer was a college professor. But because I got on that road, I was able to do that. So again, your passion, when you find your passion, you find your purpose. And so again, this has been Poetically Speaking, the place for spoken word, and with your host, Ronald C. McCray and Terry Benjamin. Again, we're on BKS1 Radio TV. And thank you, Norm. Thank you, Jeff, for being an engineer tonight. Thank you, Ron. And thank you. And we will see you on Sunday. And we'll be here Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m.